Hello and welcome to another It's Not Halal, It's Not Haram, and this is our last week of Ramadan. Obviously, I can't really do anything to do with food or drink, because I would be breaking the fast. And I would encourage other Muslims to be breaking the fast by doing it, so therefore I'm not. It's pretty haram that. So what am I going to talk about in the last week? I'm going to talk about clothing. And here we have ladies' clothing. Good Islamic clothing. I prefer the hijab to the burqa, but it depends on the people. But unfortunately, we might be talking about hour in a minute, because what we're going to talk about is a little bit about something I'm still confused about, which are manties, which are meant to be male panties. Are they male because they're made for males, or are they still feminine? But I mean, we know in the Quran it says much about homosexuality, and such as 781, Surah 781. And in the Gospel, and in the Torah, it says in Deuteronomy and Leviticus 22:5 and 18:22. Yeah, it also says about cross-dressing in that. But it doesn't say much about cross-dressing in the Quran. In fact, it says nothing. It's only in the Hadith where cross-dressing is mentioned. It's been mentioned by a number of, well, several Islamic scholars in the Hadith where cross-dressing is, or trying to be look feminine if you're male, or vice versa, trying to look masculine if you're female, is against Allah's deeds and his intentions, and which is pretty much really what the Bible says, and the Bible was brought down by Allah. So therefore, that's a fact that, you know, males dressing in female clothing, female dressing in male clothing, isn't very acceptable to our Creator. Well, let's have a look, because I have 4 wives. So therefore, these panties number 1. Now, they're halal for her, but if I was to put these on, these would be haram. Exactly. And it's the same with her. If she put these on, which are boxers, although people might argue differently because, you know, it covers the body and it's well, is it masculine, is it feminine? I don't know. It's very difficult to say, but according to most people, a girl who wore these, it will be haram, you know. So, I don't know. And there's wife number 2, who is, you know, again, these are more frilly and lacy, but look a little bit like my manties, which I'll show in a minute. And if I wore these, they would be, you know, haram. But on wife number 2, the halal. Well, I don't know. People might say because it doesn't show, it still shows a bit of aura. But if you've got to look under the hijab or the niqab first, or the chandor or the burqa. But anyway, here again, wife number 2, if she was wearing these, yeah, they will be haram. In fact, they will be double haram, because even if I wore them, they'd be haram. And why is that? Because it shows, you know, a pagan, or a, well, you know, a pagan god, Santa. But I don't know about that. And so on to wife number 3, who sadly not with us now. Wife number 3, and surely if I wore these again would be haram. But for her, they're halal. In fact, they're very halal, because they don't actually show any real part of the body underneath, you know, the burqa or the chador, and that would be excellent. That would be really, really good. That would be, you know, halal for a girl, but certainly haram for me. And the same goes again for wife number 3. If she wore these, well, you know, who no harm, but yes, haram for the girl and halal for me, supposedly. And Vivienne Westwood, sadly he's passed away, British designer. And finally, wife number 4, the newest of wives. Of course, these are her, you know, and obviously they'll fit her rather than fit me. But you know, for her, these are halal, definitely. And of course, I can even fit in these, and they will be haram for me. And number 4, obviously, even though they're pink, halal or haram. Well, as I said before, when I showed a similar piece earlier on, it's very difficult to say are these halal or haram for women. I don't know. So finally we come on to the main thing, which is what we're talking about today. Manties, which are frilly lacy garments but made to fit the male anatomy. So are halal or haram? And so I've got 3 examples here. I mean, yes, it is R underneath a thobe, I suppose. But, you know, it's meant to be for a male. So are these halal? If I wore these, would it be halal or haram? Who knows? And again, for these, look very lacy, look very frilly, look very girly, more like them French can-can dancers. But then again, are they halal or haram? Because they've been set up and been manufactured for the male. Who's to know? If you wore them underneath your clothing as a male, would they be halal or would it be haram? And again, the same again with these. Again, made for men, but with feminine outlooks. So are halal or haram? So this is the thing about underwear. I'm sort of shocked with, and I'm just going to be putting a little bit of amusement at the end, and a bit of food for thought, because we go on about food all the time, and I've mentioned earlier on in Ramadan about music, and I mentioned about accidentally being contaminated with haram, you know, and so I've shown these various things, and I thought I'd finally finish with this. But halal, haram clothing, I personally like wearing a thobe. And people may say, oh, well, that's a bit transvestitist. That's it in the West. But in the Muslim community, in Yarra community, and in the desert, it's a nice thing to have because it keeps you cool. And there's no arrow shown, especially if you're doing salad. So, it's a confusing thing. There's lots of things on the internet about how a male and a female should dress properly and modestly, and some of it is a bit over the top, I must admit. But obviously, you know, the westernized girls with the short mini skirts and the dresses and whatever, and showing all the bits and pieces, yes, it is a temptation to man. And that's why Allah wants to try and keep women covered for the privacy of the husband. So, you know, men don't fly into temptations and be like confused and going about rushing about after women when they should be devoting attention to Allah himself. So that's my final non-foodish halal not haram. So I hope you're doing well in Ramadan, and you know, have a good Eid, and I'll see you probably next week when we go back to the food. I've got some interesting food ideas coming, because it's given me 4 weeks of thought to think about what's halal and what's haram. So for now, salam alaikum, Ramadan Mubarak, and it's bye for me. Bye now.